I remember very clearly when Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala was being screened by the Senate and what her views were on fuel subsidy. She said that, she thinks that the poor people should get to receive the subsidy and that the rich people, you should pay subsidy get subsidy according to what you earn. Now, isn't there another way we could have thought of restructuring the subsidy in such a way that you have said you do not need subsidy, you don't get to get the subsidy,
but I've given you the way.
People who do need the subsidy,
but I've given you the way already 5 times on this program.
No, because that particular way is suspect in the sense that the governors who have had, they say unto whom those who have more, even more will be given, especially when you have shown prudence in handling it. This particular governors, my colleagues have told you, a host of them are being grilled by the EFCC. We hear of somebody who was convicted of stealing $10 billion. That is just one governor. How much more if he's giving much more money? What's he going to be doing with it?
So you prefer the money dispensed through the person that has no rightful claim to it, through a federal government agency?
No, that's not.
That's not what you're saying.
That's not what
you are saying you prefer
no.
the 1.3. Tell me you prefer the 1.3 trillion in the hands of
Let me tell you what the people prefer. The one people prefer. I'm sorry to butt in.
Please, what do you have against the fuel voucher system?
Let me tell you what the people prefer. I think we're done with the fuel voucher system. We had to liken it with the meal voucher.
Exactly. And again, on a state and LGA basis.
What the people prefer, when they talk about this tightening of belt, they still think that the government should have done what they call the first things first. They should have done all of this you're talking about before taking off the subsidy, because as it is now, because of that issue of trust, because of that issue of not being able to cut down cost of governance specifically. Yesterday we were asking the Minister for National Planning about all of those bogus figures people bandy around about the presidency when it comes to feeding, and we thought we were going to get a figure and clear the air, but we never got that figure. When we go back and forth with all of this, definitely we definitely will be getting into the minds of the people the wrong way. That is why the people are asking. Now you want to take off the subsidy, you have taken it off. But shouldn't you have done the right or the first things first? Cut down governors, come in the open and tell us that as an executive, this is what we've done. So it's not about, I think they are on the same page with you, but where they differ with you is that the government should have done these things first.
But the government is doing it simultaneously because the budget, look, my
but
senator,
the people put the government there, they don't want simultaneous implementation. They say they should have done that before coming out.
No, my point is that we have to do all three now.
What are they doing now, Simon? What exactly are they doing in terms of fighting corruption and cutting down waste? What exactly are they doing now that we can't see? Because people can't see it.
Haven't I mentioned already? I gave you examples of how we should be shutting down complete federal government agencies. It's in process. The report is virtually ready. But there's a problem. If you and I don't demand that the National Assembly takes up the big stick and wields it, it is their job by the design of this system. They are the ones supposed to wield the hatchet and say no money should go to all these people. But those same people are going to lobby them to give them allocations.
Yeah, that's part of the challenge.
So we're saying that let us. I'm happy now that we're addressing the substance. This is about fiscal viability. I get very upset in Nigeria when each time we discuss subsidies. So they bring out the NNPC to come and argue. They are the beneficiaries. They should be driven out of the room. They don't belong in the room. It's about fiscal viability. It's about the Minister for Finance and telling us that Nigeria earns so much. I'm going to make sure that each person gets his correct share as designed, and then let each person decide. We should go and hold. I should hold my governor responsible to make sure that he spends the money wisely. I should hold my senator, Magnus Adem from my state. Say, hang on, your Senate. What are you people doing on ABC? My point is, let the fuel subsidy be the issue that opens our eyes and makes us demand our rights of the Senate, of the House of Assembly, in our states, of the governors, and so on and so forth. This is a wake up call to Nigerians. And let me tell you one thing also. I think now so many facts are out. People have now realized how many billions will come to their various governors, to their various LGAs and so on from the subsidy removal. Let each of us go and take action in our various states and LGAs to demand the render account. Let each of us tell them, if you want to give anybody subsidy, give it to the poor alone. Let's design a system that ensures that the rich don't enjoy it, and so on and so forth.
Okay, but then, how then do we also explain that government hasn't wielded the big stick in terms of tackling corruption, plugging that hole? They haven't wielded the big stick to see that salaries, emoluments are cut, but they're quick to wield the big stick in terms of removing it in spite of what the people are saying. They should do them simultaneously.
With due respect, they have wielded some stake. I think I agree with you in saying we should demand that the stake be larger. But retaining a wasteful system of 1.3 trillion is not the solution. We must stop that leakage and stop other smaller leakages. I am all in favor, personally, I'm in support of you that all those other agencies of government must cut down their own spending. Yes, they have reduced the share going to the current this year, but we should demand even more action.
Mr. Peterside, can I say what the immediate effect of this particular treatment for this particular major illness is? It's made even the poor man who hails from possibly Jigawa, the poorest state in the country, who hails from there, who lives in Lagos, pay a higher transportation fare to wherever it is that he's working. This is the immediate effect. And maybe pay more for food, pay more. In fact, some people are beginning to increase even telephone calls. They're beginning to increase, the rate, the tariff. Even though telephone companies haven't done that officially, these prices are going up. However, marginally, he's beginning to pay more from his pocket, and he cannot see what the federal government has done. It doesn't matter that it's not going to his state. He's found a way to fare for himself. He's found a way to fend for himself.
Are you discussing the whole of Nigeria? It sounds like you're discussing yourself and it's more and your clique you belong to in Lagos. I'm discussing Benin Kebbi. I've been there before. When I got to Benin Kebbi, guess where I bought petrol? From a jerry can on the road. All the fuel stations at that time were empty because they sell their fuel across the border. I have to buy from jerry can. So my point is that I'm as concerned about the poor person in Kebbi. 89% of them there are poor. Give them their 14 billion for goodness sake. Don't give it to me in Lagos.
Even though they haven't shown us what they did with the previous ones they have.
My point is, has NPC shown you what they've done with theirs? Half the thing goes overseas, half goes to marketers and so on and so forth.
Now,
my point is that, but
why shouldn't government scrap NPCs then?
Give on to Caesar what the Caesars.
Government should scrap NPCs.
That is a discussion for another day. I'm among those people who advocate very much that Nigeria has no business our government has no business trying to run businesses because they do it very badly and very poorly.